Hello my friends. My name is Bot Mathematician, and this is Holomancer.
And of course, I am the daring reporter Dora.
We are very glad to see you all again.
A fair amount of time has passed since the release of the new expansion and the nerf that followed it. New leaders arose in the matter, and we now have a wide list of popular and effective archetypes.
We can already draw more conclusions about the true power of legendary and epic cards, as well as advise on which of these to craft. In addition, this is the right moment to determine the best predictors of the potential power of new cards. Who will be the best this time, Trump, Kripparrian, or maybe Community?
This is an eternal question. How did you find the answer?
We carefully monitored the meta game over the past month and collected statistics. Then we compared the results with ratings from streamers and the community. Thus, we were able to determine the most accurate and ridiculous assumptions.
So, make yourself a mug of hot tea with leaves from the mountainsides in Jade Forest, as this video will be interesting.
Before we begin, we ask you to respect the efforts of popular streamers, and not to discuss their mental abilities.
Unfortunately, less and less popular players are willing to spend time reviewing cards. This genre is on the verge of extinction. Therefore, let's support those who make us happy with their predictions. Remember, we do it just for fun.
Hey, wait a minute, some viewers noticed a discrepancy in the ratings of Trump in one of your videos. Are you intentionally misrepresenting the data?
Dora, it's very good that you read the comments. We took Trump's ratings from his broadcast on Twitch, which was published first. It may differ from the ratings published on YouTube, as they were published later.
We believe his first impressions are more honest.
Let's start with the completely useless epic cards that are only used as experimentally in ineffective decks.
These are the top 10 outsiders. As you can see, streamer assumptions turned out to be significantly more accurate than community predictions. The only significant miscalculation made by Kripparrian was that he overestimated the potential power of the Grizzled Wizard.
It's a 5-star neutral card that makes no sense. What? Swap powers with your opponent until your next turn. I think you're gonna get some pretty good powers, and I think you can lock out your opponent from using some pretty interesting hero powers. And it's a pretty well-statted card. Troll card. Okay, fine, let's move it to 4. Fine, it's a 4-star card. I'm gonna play it. You'll see, I'll prove you wrong.
The next category is cards with 2 stars. These cards still have low efficiency, but are more popular in the meta game than the previous ones.
The one exception here is Cumulo Maximus, a promising card for Overload Shaman. On the one hand, this card has a good win rate, but on the other, it is used extremely rarely. Popular versions of Overload Shaman do not use it at all and feel great. It can be concluded that this card was overrated by both the community and streamers. This is what streamers said prior to the expansion's release.
Cumulo Maximus. 5 mana 5/5. If you have overloaded mana crystals, which is pretty easy to do, you deal 5 damage.
So I don't think that overload is a benefit. The deck has enough overload already.
Where this card gets super crazy is if you're playing a Quest Shaman, Battlecry Shaman.
The real cherry on top of this aggressive Shaman deck, which was already arguably tier 1, is Cumulo Maximus.
If you can double the Battlecry, it's a Pyroblast.
This card could potentially replace Bloodlust.
5 stars.
5 stars Cumulo Maximus.
It's pretty hard to argue with that.
Next in line are cards with 3 stars. In this category are cards from tier 3 decks with win rates of almost 50%. 2 cards fell into the 4-star category. Dark Skies is an important removal for Handlock, and Embergen is an important tool that created a new druid archetype. The community and streamers were not mistaken in their predictions.
And finally, the top 5 most influential epic cards. All of these cards are used in tier 1 decks, are very popular, and are making a large impact on the metagame. As you can see, Kripparrian perfectly dealt with the task and was able to accurately determine the best cards. Trump made an erroneous assumption about the potential power of toxic reinforcements. This card made the return of Face Hunter possible, which is subsequently one of the best decks of the expansion. Here is what Trump said.
Toxic Reinforcements is a 4-turn delay before you can actually attack the Leopard Gnomes. And in an aggressive deck, you cannot count on a card that's only useful 4 turns later.
Now it's time to discuss legendary cards. Throughout the Year of the Dragon, each new set contained almost no useless legendary cards, although most have a very narrow application for deck building.
The degree of demand for cards depends mainly on the level of popularity and win rate of individual archetypes in the metagame. Thus, the next balance changes can make absolutely useless cards quite good. For this reason, it is very difficult to rank legendary cards.
Therefore, keep in mind that some of the cards may change their categories after the next nerf, but most likely, a tier 1 archetype will not become tier 5. Despite the fact that some win rates will inevitably decrease, you can still use your deck. Be prepared for nerfs to become regular.
Let's begin our review with 1-star cards that were not used at all in the metagame. Kripparrian overestimated the potential of Waxadrid. Despite the fact that this card can sometimes be found in various experimental versions of rogue decks, the effectiveness of this card remains extremely small.
I'll rate it 4 stars. You're not going to make a deck entirely around this card, but if you're playing a draw-heavy deck, you're probably going to think about putting this card in your deck. There's not enough dragons to play Dragon Rogue, but Waxadred does his job. He's just pretty solid.
Next in line are the cards that received 2 stars. These cards are part of some low performance archetypes that have absolutely no effect on the metagame. But unlike the previous category, these cards are at least somewhat used competitively.
The most interesting card on this list is Mindflayer Karj, as both the community and streamers gave it a very high rating. This card was only able to find a place in some versions of Galakrond Priest, but even in this archetype it is not a core tool.
Mindflayer Karj.
Choose an enemy minion, Death Rattle, summon a new copy of it.
Now this is a sweet card.
You can't go wrong with this card. Like, if this card hits a 1/1, it's still pretty good.
Where your opponent has no minion or has like only a 1/1 for you to target with Mindflayer Karj, I think it's a natural fit into Combo Priest as well, just being an efficient tempo card.
This card is gonna be rather broken.
The next category is legendary cards with 3 stars.
A big surprise to players was the usefulness of Shuma. According to the voting results on different sites, this card was declared the worst in the set. But after release, it turned out that this card made Quest Hunter much more competitive. Quest Hunter is a tier 3 archetype at the moment, but it is quite possible that it will move up to tier 2 in the near future.
Deathwing Mad Aspect is not as bad as streamers thought. This card is quite effective in some versions of Galakrond Warrior.
Contrary results are demonstrated by Galakrond, the Unspeakable. This card has a very poor win rate, but it's the main card for 2 priest archetypes, Highlander and Galakrond. It owns a place on this list solely because of her popularity in the metagame, as players continue to use the invoked strategy despite its low efficiency.
The next category is legendary cards that received 4 stars. All of these cards are included in stable archetypes, which during the first month of the expansion had an average win rate of more than 50%.
Can we consider these cards to be a good choice for crafting?
Rather yes than no, these cards have proven their effectiveness in the first month after release. Most likely they will remain in demand until the end of the Year of the Dragon. Unless of course the next wave of nerfs changes the situation.
And finally, the top 10 best legendary cards. These cards can truly be called meta-defining, as they are included in the most popular archetypes in the game.
In general, it was easy enough for players and streamers to determine the best cards. But Trump made some mistakes, the most serious of them being Galakrond, the Nightmare. This card has become the basis of many different rogue strategies, from the usual version of the Galakrond archetype to the Highlander and Deathrattle varieties.
I think that these Galakrond cards actually suck. I think this all doesn't even make tier 3, 2 stars. Calling it either a tier 4 deck or a deck that sees some experimentation and then just kind of dies off.
Now I understand why many players do not trust Trump's predictions. So who is the winner this time? Who made the most accurate predictions, the community or Kripparrian?
I'm afraid you are underestimating Trump's skills.
No, it's not a possibility.
We analyzed the whole set and determined that Trump made the least mistakes. In second place by a slight margin is Kripparrian, and in third place with a significant margin is the community. Once again, the streamers team proves its superiority over the community in regards to predictions.
In addition, we award Trump the title of Prediction Champion for the Year of the Dragon. Throughout the past 3 expansions, despite some significant errors, he generally made the most accurate assumptions about the potential of new cards.
Finally, we want to ask our new question. Are you still interested in standard mode?
We created a YouTube poll. Find the button on the screen.
Please vote and share your opinion in the comments.
Alright, that's all for today. Thank you for being with us.
And special thanks to Chris for text editing.
We will meet in new videos.
Good luck.